The movie begins in a futuristic utopian city where life is ecologically balanced in population. It is a sealed world where young people only live up to their 30s before being killed to be renewed again. Logan 5, a police Sandman, is responsible for terminating runners escaping their death by attempting to leave the city. Logan is with his friend, Francis 7, a fellow Sandman, on their way to the carousel, the event that routinely terminates the people of the city to be renewed again. Logan, however, is quite skeptical regarding the matter as he's never seen anyone renewed like how they are taught. Francis tries to reason with him that it's how they maintain the system balance in the city, where one is terminated, one is born. When a carousel event occurs, hundreds of people attend to witness and celebrate the promise of being renewed again. In the middle of the stage, a red crystal glows to mark the beginning of the ceremony. People who have reached the age of 30 will encircle the red crystal and undergo the termination process. A bright light from above encloses them in a transparent sphere that will lift them up as they are terminated one by one. The people cheer as they witness the deaths of their friends and neighbors, thinking that they will still see them again. Suddenly, Logan receives a report of a runner at the Great Hall. He immediately responds with Francis, and they pursue the runner, persistently escaping them. Eventually, they are able to corner him, and he falls to the ground, leading to his death. After successfully terminating the runner, Logan calls for the cleanup services to finish the job. He then confirms his identity through his device and discovers that the man has undergone a face change, which explains his different appearance from his identification image. After that, he finds an ankh symbol from the runner as he confiscates his possessions, and the cleanup services arrive to decompose the body quickly. A few moments later, Logan enjoys leisure time after work by lounging in his luxurious lifestyle as a Sandman. He accidentally meets Jessica 6 from the circuit and welcomes her to his home. However, Jessica is not interested in spending intimate time with him as she is just curious about how a Sandman lives. She then questions why it's wrong for residents to run, and Logan explains that they either try for renewal or be misfits escaping their fate but must face the consequence of their actions. He also learns that her life clock from her palm, which dictates when they die, is years away from blinking, indicating her termination. He charms her with his smooth talk, but they are soon interrupted by Francis bringing more girls inside. The next day, the mates are on their way to the office when they see a fellow Sandman injured from losing a runner to some wild cubs, the violent young rebels who live away from the city. Once inside, they are to follow the protocol of surrendering terminated runners' possessions. Francis goes through the procedure and Logan comes after. However, upon Logan surrendering the ankh, the computer orders him to sit on the crystal chair. He then goes through a briefing procedure where he is educated about the ankh symbol, which is associated with a secret group that assists runners in finding the sanctuary, a place said to enable them to live their fullest life. The computer informs him that they have lost thousands of runners with the group's help. Thus, he must find the sanctuary and destroy it to stop people from leaving. He is then given the authority to penetrate city seals, but must keep his mission a secret. For him to be a runner, the computer changed his life clock to a blinking red, forcing him to run. After that, he seeks the help of Jessica, who wears the same ankh pendant. However, Jessica refuses to help him since he's a Sandman. Later on, she meets with her friends and alerts them that a Sandman knows about the sanctuary, which makes him their target since he is a threat to their safety. They plan to kill Logan before word spreads about it. Eventually, Jessica approaches Logan in the guise of helping him run. Suddenly, Logan receives a report of a runner at the cathedral, and Jessica tags along while Jessica's friends discreetly follow them. At the cathedral's entrance, they meet a young cub girl who steals Jessica's bracelet. However, Logan stops Jessica from catching the girl since it might be a decoy. As they go further into the area, they find a rundown place and try to locate the runner through Logan's device. When he spots the runner, the cubs surround them and threaten to harm them. The playful leader of the cubs, Billy, approaches them and boasts about injuring a Sandman the other day. However, Logan provokes him by telling him that as soon as he reaches the age limit of 16, he will be cast out by his community since he will no longer belong there. Eventually, things escalate to a physical encounter as Billy attacks him. Luckily, he scares the cubs away with his gun, leaving Billy behind, but he quickly escapes shortly after. They then spot the runner hiding behind the rubble. She surrenders and explains her situation, insisting an error occurred with her life clock, saying she's too young to turn red. Out of pity, Logan lets her go, but Francis catches up to the runner and terminates her immediately. Because of Logan's actions, Jessica now believes he has good intentions for them. She then confesses that she offered to help him to take him to be killed. As Logan proves to sympathize with runners, he pleads with Jessica to ask her friends to take him to the sanctuary, which she still refuses to do. After that, Logan calls for their ride and decides to get a new face at New U 483. At the clinic, Holly, the assistant, brings them to the doctor to get on with the procedure. They meet with the doctor, who brags about his advanced machine that instantly heals scars from the surgery. As Logan prepares for the procedure, the doctor tells Jessica that she shouldn't have brought him there, revealing that they are from the same group. Jessica explains that he is running away, which the doctor refuses to believe since he's a Sandman, but still, he proceeds to give him a new face. As they are about to begin, the doctor receives a mysterious phone call that changes his demeanor. Without hesitation, he attempts to kill Logan using his machine. Jessica stops the doctor and the machine malfunctions. The doctor quickly attacks Logan but instead gets killed by his device. While escaping, they run into Francis, who admits to seeing him dismissing the runner at the cathedral. Logan quickly reacts by knocking him out and fleeing the scene. Now on the run, the couple quickly passes through the intoxicating love shop to go into the city. Once at the entrance of the secret group's hideout, he then alarms the Sandman headquarters of his whereabouts, which exposes their location. Upon entering the secret quadrant, the members immediately surround them as Logan has his hands above his head. The couple tries to convince the members that they have good intentions for running, but they still don't buy it. Suddenly, Holly, the doctor's assistant, appears, crawling from the entrance. She seems distressed by the incident earlier and pins it on the couple. However, Jessica helps her remember that Logan is a runner hunted by another Sandman. Holly confirms their statement, which helps them clear of suspicion. After letting them pass, the leader instructs them to go under the pipe tunnel. Following the permission to get through is the warning of an impending danger that lies ahead, as there's no turning back upon entering the lock. Logan realizes the dangerous journey to the sanctuary and insists that Jessica stays with them. However, Jessica argues that she wants to be with him no matter the costs. Shortly after, the Sandmen raid the place, causing havoc. The couple hides as they try to escape, but Francis sees them and tries to convince Logan to terminate Jessica. Unaffected by his friend's dubious plea, Logan still chooses to save Jessica and shoots Francis as they flee the place. The couple then reaches the tunnel to the locked gate. At the entrance, the computer instructs them to use the Ankh key to enter. Thus, they try to remove it from Jessica's pendant. In a panic, they fumble through the key but loses it in the water. With little time left, they opt to use the spare key from the previous runner. They quickly get in as soon as it opens, seeing that Francis is close behind them. Francis tries to get to them but misses the chance when the door locks. Inside the gate, the couple finds a forgotten power station and a breeding pen completely unused. Moments later, Francis sees the Ankh key that fell into the water and uses it to get through to pursue the couple. As he enters, he quickly spots them and tries to stop them. He shoots in their direction and breaks a glass window that floods the room where the couple is. They struggle against the rush of currents as they climb up a small opening. They luckily survive the flood and land at a manual elevator. Out of exhaustion, Logan accidentally pushes the lever that lifts them to the top. At the top level, they are welcomed by a strong winter breeze as they go further into the frozen room. They then see thick fur lying on the ground and changes into it to keep themselves warm from their wet clothes. Preventing themselves from freezing to death, they try to figure out their situation. Soon after, a robotic machine with a self-command system appears to greet them and chants the same words and repeat. It then speaks riddles that don't make sense at that moment. Logan then asks about the sanctuary, which the robot doesn't say anything about. However, it mentions that others came the same way they did. Thus, Logan asks where these people are. To answer Logan's question, the robot shows them a passage where frozen runners are stored, ready for harvest. It turns out that the runners became food alternatives when the other food stopped coming. As they look at every frozen runner, the robot chants the same words again. Immediately after its chant, it reveals his intention to freeze them like the others to store them as food. The couple rushes to get away from it but struggles to run on the ice. Logan skillfully shoots it, but it remains unfazed. Then Logan tries to overpower it by holding its guns away from them. Logan shoots aimlessly and hits the birds displayed above, causing the ceiling to collapse. The couple quickly escapes the room and sees the rising sun outside. Oblivious to nature, they couldn't understand what they were seeing. Moments later, Francis arrives at the broken-down frozen room and still tracks the couple closely. Regardless of the tiring journey, Logan is still determined to find the sanctuary. Continuing to the unknown, they walk through a dead riverbank. Exhaustion and confusion take over Jessica as she panics upon seeing a reptile and insists on returning to the city. Logan tries to calm her down and reassures her that they'll get there. As the sun sets, they settle under the trees to rest and get comfortable with each other. The following day, they discover a clean river nearby and immediately jump into it to freshen up. A few moments later, they notice that their life clock has no color but is crystal clear, which Logan claims have no power in the outside world. They celebrate as they are no longer bounded by their life clock and can live as long as they want. Their celebration soon turns into an intimate moment as they share the remarkable breakthrough of their life. After a while, they get back on their feet to travel again. They spot a city nearby, but instead of seeing a civilized land, they discover old ruins with hardly any people around. Upon entering an abandoned building, they find an old man living with cats. Curious about his looks, they ask how old he is since they've never seen an old-grown man, considering most of the residents of their city die young. After some time, Jessica gets separated from the group as Francis takes her away from them. Francis then calls for Logan as he holds her hostage. Eventually, the former friends get into a physical fight and Logan gets the upper hand. However, Logan accidentally kills him, which he eventually regrets. That night, Logan convinces Jessica to leave the place to tell the residents of their city the truth about the outside world. They also plan to expose their city's system, knowing they were fooled all along. The news upsets the old man since Jessica promised they would bury him when it's time. The couple then decides to bring him with them as living proof of the outside world. This excites the old man, and they continue their journey the next day. Once on their journey, the old man talks about the time when things were still normal with people living in the city with him. They pass through the same places the couple went through and rest for the night in the jungle by the fireplace. The following day, they finally reach the hydropower station in the area going to the sealed city. Eventually, the couple decides it's too difficult for the old man to swim under the waters to the entrance and tells him to stay for a while until they return. The couple swims down the canal and enters their city. As hundreds of people attend the carousel, the couple alerts them that they don't have to die at 30 anymore and instead live and grow old. However, their futile attempts fail as the crowd is unconvinced by their testimony. Instead, they only attract the Sandmen who take them in. They are soon arrested, and Logan is taken for interrogation. Once in custody, the computer asks Logan if he found the sanctuary, but to its dismay, Logan confirms that there is no sanctuary. It digs deeper into his mind to reveal more information but only comes to the conclusion that the place doesn't exist. Logan's memory only exposes old ruins, the old man, and frozen missing runners without any trace of arriving at the sanctuary. However, the computer doesn't accept these facts and overloads, causing the whole system of the city to crash. The couple hurriedly escapes the office as the building falls apart. The residents panic as the entire city suddenly collapses, forcing them to evacuate outside the seals. Outside, they meet the old man waiting for them patiently. Stunned by the hundreds of people standing before him, the people swarm him as they are fascinated by his looks. The movie ends as the people are now free from the illusion of being forever young, which cost them to miss a lot of opportunities in life.